He looks crazy. He looks like an actual vampire, like that movie that just came out.
Oh yeah. I wanted to see that. They're like stuck on a ship.
Yeah,
I forgot what it's called.
You know he's gonna kill him.
Who's gonna kill who?
He's gonna kill the vampire. What's his name? Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre. Welcome to the Fourth Act, our entertainment podcast, where every Friday we discuss a topic in TV, movies, video games, and more. My name is Gabe, joined once again by big brother Augie.
Mochi
Gome.
together, and now I can play it.
And today we're doing our Versus series, which if you're brand new, I recommend a movie he hasn't seen. He recommends a movie to me that I haven't seen. We rank them in 4 or 5 different categories at the end. Visuals, sounds, acting, or characters, story. Stick around to the end for that, or just fast forward. Because we're about to go through both stories
seconds.
first. 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
So we're going to go through each story first. We're going to start off with Jojo Rabbit. Then we'll go into the ghost story. And we're going to spoil the shit out of everything. So if you want to just stick around for that, go ahead. And before we get started, we're trying to get to 100 subscribers. Right now, we're at like 79, 80, somewhere around there. So we're going up. We're moving on up. Triple digits. Help us get there. Likes, subscribe, share, all that shit. No, the goal's 100. We're going for the big ones now. We're going triple digits. Okay. And without further ado, Jojo Rabbit. Jojo is a lonely German boy who discovers that his single mother is hiding a Jewish girl in their attic. Aided only by his imaginary friend, Adolf Hitler, Jojo must confront his blind nationalism as World War II continues to rage on. Augie, what did you think of Jojo Rabbit?
The best movie you recommended. The best movie you recommended to me so far, I would say. I haven't watched, other than Thor, I haven't seen a lot of Taika movies. Like I said, I didn't see the vampire one.
That's the one that I recommended you to, What We Do in the Shadows, but go ahead.
Yeah, but I would say this is his best one.
I agree. We'll get into spoilers and probably reasons why. But
this one won shit, right? Like an Oscar or
something? It won Oscar for like adapted screenplay, because I think it's based off a book or a novel, something.
I was going to say, how'd this
short story.
At the same time, I was say, how'd this shit even win after all the shit it said in there?
Well, that's the thing, is like nobody really reviewed this movie because it's, there's Nazis all over it and everything, but critically it did very well.
N's and J's.
N's and J's. That's what we're calling them.
Yeah, I liked it. Obviously, World War II and shit. And he did like a funny twist on it, which was even funnier. And like I was saying, it's like he just learned about the Nazis and
Jojo.
No, Taika.
Oh, Taika.
Yeah, it's like I'm still on Taika right now.
Okay. Who, by the way, plays Hitler?
Yeah, yeah, he plays Hitler, his imaginary Hitler.
Yeah.
It's like he just learned about World War II and all that, and he's just like, he just wanted to show like the funny side of it or something, like, because there was like some history stuff, but they would make jokes. Or even like the book they looked in and all that.
Yeah. There's a lot of definitely references to other shit that's happened, like Jesse Owens.
Yeah.
When it was like she's so when he's talking about like the girl.
Jesse Owens,
he's like, she's just a really fast female Jesse Owens.
And then I felt like it was a lot of like movies that he mixed, like the Anne Frank shit. Obviously.
Well, I mean, that's more just based off like history.
Yeah. And then if you do any love story, it's Romeo and Juliet. So especially if they're two people that aren't supposed to be together.
So you think that there's like a romantic thing between them two?
Well, I mean, she said no. If we're jumping everywhere.
Yeah, we can jump everywhere. Full spoilers.
She said no. It's like a brother, she said, but I don't believe her.
Why?
Why did she play along with all the letters until the end, even if...
Well, everybody's kind of just like... the whole movie's just about JoJo's imagination. Because he's still a boy. So, like, and she knows she's like a teenager. So she's just
like 15.
Going on. Yeah, she's just messing with him. And it's kind of cute. Like, there's the whole scene where, like, the whole reason why the letters start is because he's, like, trying to get rid of her.
Yeah.
And he tells her that, the boyfriend that she had... I think, what did she say? Like she was going to get married or something?
Paris. He's waiting in Paris.
Yeah, so that she had a boyfriend, and then next scene, he comes with a letter. And in the letter that he wrote, that JoJo wrote, was just like, hey, he's pretending he's the boyfriend. Like, oh, I'm breaking up with you, or like I don't want to be with you anymore.
Dear Elsa, this is hard for me to say, but I don't want to marry you anymore. I found a new woman, and we laugh a lot and do the tongue kiss.
It's totally fake, and you could tell Jojo wrote it because he's a kid. But then like it kind of like hurts her feelings anyway. And then that just goes to show like the whole like idea of Jojo is that he is still a boy, and he's kind of just mimicking and saying everything that he's supposed to say, that he thinks he's supposed to say. Yeah. So he hurts her feelings, and then even Scarlett Johansson earlier mentions that the little boy is still in him. And so he hurts her feelings, and then comes back in with another note, and it's like, oh, I forgot the second part. He's like, actually, I don't want to break up with you, and all this stuff. So
I don't want to break up with you now. I changed my mind because I don't want you to kill yourself over me, which a couple of girls have done in the past, and it's pretty stressful.
And he's the one that got his mom killed, not the girl.
Oh, damn, we're just going all over the place. Yep. Yeah.
Because he told the guy, he said, she's in town a lot. And he said, oh, is she? So him just talking too much, just...
Right, so Scarlett Johansson plays the mom, and she's incredible.
Yeah.
I love her so
I didn't
much.
expect her in this, but she didn't overdo her. Like she didn't take over the movie.
No, she's definitely a supporting role.
Yeah, like she pops in when she has to, and then she ended up. The twist is she's like a freedom fighter almost.
Right. Yeah. So we do hear word earlier that the dad has been MIA for like 2 years, and they call him a coward. But you can kind of put two and two together that like he like left the Nazis, and he's just like fighting against the Nazis. You can assume that. Yeah. And then mom is like getting notes and stuff about like the tide of the war is ending, and she's like burning notes so there's no proof. Yeah. She's the one hiding the Jewish girl. And like by the end, we see a scene with Hitler like confronting Jojo about like, hey, you need to get your shit together. Like you need, because he's starting to turn into like a good kid or whatever. He's always a good kid, but he's starting to turn against the Nazis too.
Don't let her mess with your German mind, your German brain.
I don't know.
Don't let her mess with your German brain.
And then he's like, you need to get your shit together. Like, you're 10 years old. You need to start acting like it. And then whatever. So he like scolds him, and he kind of sees Hitler for what he is for the first time, even though he's like his imaginary friend. That's like representative about like how he's feeling about it. So whatever. Then
that's how he feels like Hitler would be like.
Right. So then he goes into town, and then the whole movie, or at least a couple scenes, we see Scarlett Johansson's shoes. They're very identifiable. They look like clown shoes. They're like these white and red, like very noticeable.
Maybe could have been Harley Quinn.
Just based off the shoes. That's it. Well, Scarlett. I'll say Scarlet Witch. Scarlett Johansson can play anything she wants. Remember when she was an Asian character?
Now thinking more about it, it's kind of hit that shit, dude.
What do you mean?
Joaquin and
her. We'll see. Lady Gaga's going to be in it. It's going to be a musical. Joker 2.
She's 1-0 right now. Lady Gaga.
Oh yeah, and The Star Is Born. She was also in like American Horror Story, whatever.
Well,
I don't know.
Leave that for the TV people.
Yeah.
Like the TV people.
Yeah. We only talk about Marvel and Star Wars TV.
Streaming TV.
But yeah, so then we get to the scene where Jojo, after he gets scolded by Hitler, imaginary Hitler, he goes into the town to do like his little job. He puts up propaganda, and then it's just playing like this like little song or whatever, and then he bends down to tie his shoe or whatever, and then he goes up. And as soon as he goes up, he like is next to where the people hang, the traitors, which we saw earlier in the movie too. And then you just see Scarlett Johansson's shoes, and that's all you needed to see. Yeah. And I love that throughout the movie, he brainwashed you. Like, he taught you. He put that seed in your head of just like, oh, those are noticeable without you even noticing. And then as soon as you see them, it's just like, oh no. Because up to this point, the movie's like, it's kind of serious. There's some tension. But that's the moment where it's just like, oh yeah, we're dealing with World War II, and we're dealing with Nazis, and Scarlett Johansson, his mom, who she's purely good. We didn't see a single scene where we would dislike her. She's freaking dead. So were you shocked by that?
No, I knew she was gonna die.
You knew she was gonna die.
Well, because we started seeing her in the city. Like, he started seeing her, and then it was just like I knew she was gonna die, because they weren't gonna these two weren't gonna die, because like he said.
But why does somebody have to die?
It's World War II.
It's World War II.
Millions die. Oh, crazy, but no, I just knew either she was gonna die or the captain was gonna die, especially after they did that whole thing with the birth certificate and all that.
Yeah, the captain is another great character.
The two best characters is Captain K, Captain Crunch.
Can two-eyed people do this?
And then I forgot his
Played
name.
by Sam Rockwell.
And his friend, his homie.
Oh, the other, his like partner or whatever?
No, the fat one, his fat little friend.
I know his name's Archie. Let me see. Yorkie. Yeah, Yorkie's hilarious in this.
She's basically my girlfriend now. Oh, good for you, Jojo, a girlfriend. But, you know, she's Jewish. There are bigger things to worry about than Jews, Jojo. There's Russians somewhere out there.
This guy was a superstar for a couple months after this movie came out. Like, he was at the award shows, everybody's interviewing him because he was hilarious. He's also in another movie. Like, he's in the Home Alone reboot or remake, whatever. Never saw it, but it's on Disney Plus.
Another one is that girl, the Rebel Wilson. They put her in there.
Yeah, she's hilarious.
She didn't overdo her thing either.
Well, she never does. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like it wasn't too much her character.
Yeah, she was just support. Like she was not just supporting role, but she's kind of just like a cameo. She's definitely in. She pops up a couple times, and she's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like she plays.
Yeah, like she's all pat. She puts the grenade on the kid, and she's like, "Go hug, go hug those Americans."
Okay, see that American there? Just go give him a hug. Go, run, let's go! Oh, Yorkie. Great news, you've just been promoted, and you get your own pistol. Just go and shoot anybody who looks different to us. Okay. Ah!
She's like the dumb character, but she plays it so well. She's also like making stuff up about like, oh, I heard Jews are like this, whatever. She like makes something up.
Yeah.
Because Jojo makes stuff up about Jewish people and then like using his imagination.
Well, the girl does. She makes fun of herself. And then he takes it too serious because, like you said, he's little still.
Yeah, he actually believes all these things that he hears.
He's like, oh, really? Starts writing that shit down. He's writing a book.
Yeah. And, but yeah, going back to Rebel Wilson, there's so many dumb moments with her. Like, funny. They're actually funny. Like, body comedy, too. Just throughout the whole movie is a lot of, like, body humor. But the scene that I go with her is... she's sitting on the bench, or they're talking. Jojo's talking like during swimming class to the captain and then like his partner, and I forgot what they're talking about. Or he's talking about like, oh, how do you like identify a Jewish person? And then like Rebel Wilson like chimes in, but the shot is like really wide, and they're over here on the right, and she's on the bench, and she just like scoots over all the way. She's like, oh, I know something. And she's just scooting. Just all the Taika humor that's funny that you wouldn't expect anybody else to do. Like those are his touchstones. Yeah. Like when they throw the knife at the tree and it bounces off and hits the other kid.
It's almost like real life Family Guy shit. Like
in a way, yeah.
They'll say jokes and it's like that's funny because they actually did that or something. Like he'll be like, oh, he's not here because he's over there fighting in something.
Like it just feels like it's its own world. Like it definitely doesn't feel like real life.
Yeah.
Like this isn't a serious movie at all. Until it's time to get serious.
It's almost like a more serious version of The Interview. Because The Interview did...
how are you going to connect these two?
Because The Interview did a funny take on North Korea and shit like that. So he did a funny take on World War II.
Yeah.
Nazi Germany and shit. So it's like...
But the way that he does it, the reason why I like this movie so much, and it's not just like, oh, haha, he's making fun of Nazis, is how clever it is that Jojo says all these things that we've heard Nazis say over the years about like how, you know, Hitler, there's several times that we hear that Hitler has like indestructible legs and stuff like that. It's all this shit that he would just make up to like boast about himself, but also that maybe people around him would make up.
Yeah.
Jojo thinks that's real because he's a kid.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is it's kind of like shitting on Nazis and whoever fell for that propaganda and all that bullshit where it's just like, this is kid stuff. Like this is a kid's mindset.
Yeah. Like, they should fall for that.
Yeah, they shouldn't fall for that. And he does because he's a kid. And we see it through his point of view. And even him, as soon as he starts realizing the real world and meets a Jewish girl, he flips.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing is about a boy. Not like this isn't a coming-of-age story about a boy becoming a man. But it's more like just like a boy like finding himself, like just being a boy.
Yeah.
And not just reiterating everything that he hears. So it's not even so much about like, oh, Jojo's such a Nazi. He's not. He's not.
Yeah.
See.
Well, he basically becomes his mom at the end.
Mm-hmm.
He ties the shoes. He has her saying, "Yeah, the little thing,
A little wink. Oh, I love her so much.
The funniest part was, and he's like, "Oh, you guys like ugly stuff, huh?" You know,
which
isn't
part?
that right? He's like, because he's saying stuff that they like. Or
To Jojo saying it to the Jewish girl.
Yeah, to the
Or let me
Jewish
find
girl.
out her name. We keep calling her the Jewish girl, Elsa.
Elsa, yeah. He's all telling her. He's like, "You like ugly stuff, right?" And then he tells Hitler, he's like, "Do you think I'm ugly?" He's like, "Yes." He tells him right away.
Adolf, do you think I'm ugly?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Just the
flat out.
Taika humor when Jojo blows himself up in the beginning, and
Yeah.
then the captain was just like, "Don't do that," instead of reacting to it.
Everything he did was because of Hitler, basically. Like, his imaginary Hitler.
Yeah.
Or what he thought of him. But it was funny when his friend's like, "Yeah, he died." And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's dead." And next time we see him, he has a bullet in his head. He comes back. He's like, "Where do you think you're going?" He's like, tries to recruit him one last time, just throws it at him. Put this shit on.
Any favorite moments, parts?
It had to be with freaking. It was just whatever part was with Captain K. That dude was freaking.
It's funny.
That dude, every time I seen him, I was like, he's like, "Because of you, I got demoted." He's like, "Now I have to watch all these kids."
Well, at first he got demoted to the summer camp, the Nazi summer camp, because the mission went wrong and he lost an eye. Like, we don't hear much about that. But right away you can tell that he's not really, like, he's a Nazi, but he doesn't give a shit about what they do or what they care about, like their morals, nothing like that. And he's gay, like, straight up, like that he's gay, but like we see little peaks of it. Like when Scarlett Johansson goes into like the office and then he starts like feeding his partner, like his like little sidekick. I don't know what his role is, but he's like feeding him and then he like pulls it away. And then
the feathers on his shit.
At the end,
he wanted it all colorful.
At the end, he knew he was gonna die, so he just went like full gay man. And he's wearing his Nazi outfit, like with the sun behind him, and he's got like all these feathers on him.
What his partner right there shooting behind him?
Yeah. Did you think it was gonna go like full war at the end?
Well, I knew we were gonna get the war eventually because the mom was saying that the war is gonna end soon. And then after she died, I was like, "Oh, we're getting it." I was like, "It's gonna be like it's always like, oh, if you just one more day or some shit." So then that happened, and then I thought the real twist was when he got back. I thought she was gonna be gone.
Yeah,
she was already gonna be gone, and then I thought the twist was he was gonna keep her there. Like, he was going to keep her, like, freaking...
And turn evil, or what?
Well, just keep her just as long as he could until, who knows, like...
And that's the thing, this movie ends with, like, at least from what I remember, because I didn't get to finish it today before you got here, it ends with, like, no sign of any adults coming to take care of them. Like, it's just them two. Because mom's dead, dad's gone.
Like I said, the whole thing of stuff that actually happened that he made a joke of, like, kids were in the army, but he made it like, oh, you see your friend in the middle of lunch or some shit. And he sees him. What was his name? Yorkie?
Yorkie, yeah.
He sees Yorkie and he's...
On the battlefield, you mean?
Yeah, he drops the RPG just...
Yeah.
Yorkie? Oh, God.
And doesn't he get blown up? Like, he, like, disappears, and then, like, an explosion happens, and you kind of assume that Yorkie's dead, but then he comes back.
She gave him the pistol. She's like, "You've been promoted." And then he goes around the corner, and explosions, and then she goes out there with a light machine gun, and she gets blown up. She like gets blown up, and then we don't see him again. And then this dude with his cardboard outfit, he said it's paper like. I was like, this guy,
and that kind of makes fun of the Nazis too, where it's just like once they were like pinned down, it's like they were just doing anything to survive at that point.
Like, he was like, it's funny as how the shit that he would say, because he's like, I seen a Jew. He wasn't that scary like they say they are. And then you see him later, like, and he's like, "It's a tough time being a Nazi."
Yeah,
like, it's just like
Yorkie says that. Yeah,
it's just funny because if this dude didn't throw the grenade, he would have been with them right there the whole time.
Yeah,
all this shit, none of this shit would have happened.
And we just like overlooked the whole beginning part too, where it's just the Nazi summer camp and like they're burning the books. They're learning. Rebel Wilson is teaching about I forgot like the name, but like the Jewish like. They have like a picture like a devil, and then it's like the Jewish like candles, like for like what's the holiday? It's
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah. So it has like all the candles, but it looks like a pitchfork and everything, and like the kids are just like, ooh, like, they're like learning, and then it's just about them like brainwashing JoJo.
The little stuff, like when they're in the library and he's with Hitler, and then he's getting tired of it. He's like, ugh. He's like, let's get out of here. He's like, this library is something.
Because all the books
they burned them all, and I was like, "This dude, it's a little Family Guy."
Taika
shit
said
like that.
something about him playing Hitler. Like I forgot what they had asked him. Like, did you do any research? And he's just like, "Oh no, fuck that guy."
Yeah, it's like he went on Google and then he was like, "Oh shit, they use kids for the army." He's like, "They used to do this, and he's like, "Let me show you what happened in my world." Like,
yeah.
It was a Tim Burton world and there's a Taika world.
There you go. Yeah, you got to watch some of Taika's other movies too, besides Thor.
I feel like I've seen another one without trying to.
There's like Hunt for the Wilder People, What We Do in the Shadows.
That one I've seen parts. Like, I know there's a show, but it's not his shit.
No, I think maybe like executive producer or something. I think he pops up or something.
He's the Vince.
That movie's
like,
hilarious. You got to watch it. You got to watch it in the right circumstances. That was the hardest I laughed at a movie in a long time. Because I didn't know what it was.
I've seen a lot of parts. Like, how long is it?
It's maybe like an hour 20.
Because I'm saying I've seen a lot of parts, so it's like I don't want to.
You probably ruined it for yourself.
Yeah, because I remember he gives them the chicken and all this shit.
I went into it
feeding time.
Yeah. I went into it not knowing that it was like a found footage. Like, it's shot like The Office. Like, this whole thing is following 3 vampires, and we won't go too long on this, by the way. But it's shot like an Office episode, follows 3 vampires, and we're just going on like their lives and everything, and they're so stupid.
We're not just pointing the finger at you, Deacon. You're a cool guy, but you're not pulling your weight in the flat.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that I'm cool.
No, that's not the point, though.
Yeah, no, I know.
I know.
They get into a bunch of dumb shit, but they have a camera crew following them around. But they're real vampires.
Yeah. Like, actually, see? And he added his own twist to it. Like, they had an actual, like, vampire where he only eats, like, chicken and shit.
Yeah, he's the oldest one. He's been around. He looks like Nosferatu.
Yeah, he looks crazy. He looks like an actual vampire, like that movie that just came out.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to see that. They're, like, stuck on a ship.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called.
You know he's going to kill him.
Who's going to kill who?
He's going to kill the vampire. What's his name? Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre? Dr. Dre's going to kill the vampire.
Yeah, well,
I know what you said. The guy that played Dr. Dre in Straight Outta Compton?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was in that movie.
That's him. I think he's I don't want to say he's a slave on there, but I think he's a slave on that ship. He's the only one.
The only person I knew from that movie was a guy from Game of Thrones, but that's all I got for you. I can't tell you. That's all I know. Anything else on this movie before we rate it?
We're gonna rate it right now first.
Yeah, we always rate at the at the end of each one, and then it carries over. Yeah, before we rate this movie out of 10.
You mean numbers, not
just final thoughts. Like, would you watch it again?
Yeah. Yeah. I thought
final thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, I freaking loved it.
Wow. Because normally you say you like it.
I want a part 2. Not crazy. Like,
I was about to say, how can you turn this to a sequel since you're always trying to make every movie we watch here into a sequel?
Yeah. I liked all of it. I liked.
Any negatives? Any critiques? He's thinking.
No, I'd just be picky.
Yeah, don't try to find a negative. Okay.
Yeah, I'd just be picky.
Before we rate, I just want to give my final thoughts on it. This movie is really good. It's not about Nazis. It was so weird seeing how people were trying to twist this into like being Nazi propaganda. Like, sure, you see the Nazi logo.
I don't see how any side could be happy when when these movies come out. Like,
you can't pick a side.
The Nazis are gonna be mad. The Jews are gonna be mad. The
Nazis are gonna be mad. They're still around. I mean, they are around.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. But I don't know if Jewish people would be mad at this. I mean, I'm not Jewish. I don't know. But like,
just making fun of a serious.
But it's not making fun of Jewish people at all. Like Elsa, when JoJo is just like, oh, what's the difference between? Because he's like interviewing her now. Yeah. He's like, oh, well, if you're going to be here, like, let me learn all your people's secrets.
He's like, tell me everything
for his book, and he's gonna like show the book to the Nazis and help Hitler, all this stuff, whatever. Point is, like, he asks Elsa, like, what's the difference between us? And then she said, like, we're pretty similar except that we're human.
Yeah.
So this whole movie is just like, I don't want to say pro-Jewish people because that sounds like there's like, you have to pick a side. You're either, no. But what I mean is like, it's not shitting. There's no like in between it. This is just like Jewish people were wronged. Nazis are evil and we're making fun of them. So I think if you're actually watching the movie, I don't see how it, I don't know. I'm speaking from my point of view. I don't see how a Jewish person could watch this and be offended, but maybe I don't know enough. I don't know.
I mean,
I get it. Everybody could be offended about everything. I get
mostly
it.
they probably didn't see it. Like everything else, they didn't.
Yeah. But that's what and that's the thing. Like, I guess I'm only talking about from people who actually watch this movie. I feel like the only way you could be offended is if you're a goddamn Nazi. That's it. That's the only way I can see it.
Oh, you had a family member in there.
A family member in there? What do you mean?
Hell yeah, they're still in like Chile or something, or I don't know where.
Chile,
Argentina or some shit. They have the grandkids of Nazi generals and shit, and they wear white gloves and they get out their medals and they show them and shit, and they're proud of.
It's true. You seen this?
Yeah, the dude that comes out on Joe Rogan, he's an army dude. He said they go over there and they would interview them. And they would bring them out. They would bring out the medals, and they say you can't touch it. But they'll wear white gloves, like those fancy white gloves.
Yeah.
And they'll bring out the medals and all that shit. And that's why a lot of people say they escaped and shit. They escaped to, I think it's Argentina or Chile.
Yeah.
Or I might be right either way. But the Southern America.
Okay. Interesting.
Rojogan.
Joe Rogan versus Rojogan
versus. I'm never gonna attempt that.
But yeah, this movie I think is great. I watched it a couple times. This is probably my third time watching it. It's beautiful. Both the theme for both these movies.
My second.
Okay, no, it's your first. Both of these movies that we're talking about today, this applies to. But this movie is beautiful. It's tragic when it needs to be, but it's only tragic for so long, and it kind of ends like upbeat.
Yeah,
but. I don't know. It just leaves you. It leaves you in a place where it's just like, I mean, like they won and like he's changed, but it's kind of like he has no parents. I guess you can assume that his dad's gonna come back because they don't mention his dad's dead, just that he's off to war.
They say he's gonna come back, but the plan's already there. He's the new Nathan. He's Nathan.
Nathan?
That's her boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
He's Nathan. They're going to Paris.
I could see them doing something eventually. I mean, now we're just like we're booking the sequel in our head or like the canon. I could see them ending up together, but I don't think
you could call it like as soon as they went out and as soon as the truck drove by, I was like, she's gonna slap him to be like, you piece of shit. But then it's just gonna be like, he still let her out. He could have kept her there, like he told her. And then
I think that's the thing is like she's so much more mature than him. I think she realizes like he's hurting. But it ends in a good place. They dance, and then like the whole significance of dancing is like you dance when you're free.
Yeah, that's why they showed us her shoes too.
Yeah, it's a movie about love. It's a movie about finding yourself. At least if you're a boy, like specifically a boy, not even a man. Like finding yourself, like, or just being yourself, making your own judgments and opinions. And you should make your own judgment and opinion on this movie. Go ahead and watch it. Even though we spoiled it. All right, final ranking. 1 through 10.
1 through 10? You said there's no points, huh?
No 0.5. This is the fourth time we're doing this, and you're still trying to 0.5 me.
Then you held this movie back.
What?
It's a 9 then.
Why? It would have been 9.5. I was like trying to understand. It would have been 9.5. All right, well, it's 9 for you.
Yeah.
Well, it's 9 for me, too.
Nothing makes sense anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely not a good time to be a Nazi.
Moving on to a ghost story. A recently deceased man returns as a ghost to his suburban home to console his bereft wife, only to find that in his spectral state, he has become stuck in time, forced to watch passively as the life he knew and the woman he loved slowly slip away.
Was it as sad as you thought it was when I said?
Yes. To answer your question, yes. It was very sad, but I thought it'd be sad in a different way. I thought it would just be like a complete Oscar bait, just depressing movie where it just... I knew that Casey Affleck was the ghost. I knew that he was dead. This movie was on my list for a while, and I just never seen it. But I thought it was going to be like, again, Oscar bait where the wife was going to be punching holes in the wall, crying and freaking out. So I was just like, I don't know if I want to see that. But it's totally different than that. It looked way more depressing because, you know, the poster's all like black and white or like very grayish. And the movie's kind of like dark too and like blue and sad and depressing. Very long scenes. That's one of my negatives on one scene, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But I really like this movie, and it hit harder than I thought it was going to because it's so good at making you feel what they're feeling, especially without saying.
The little time we seen too.
Oh yeah,
like we seen like 2 days with them.
One
before, one. Mm-hmm. 1 day, one night.
Yeah, and then the first 5 minutes,
like way later.
The long scenes benefit this movie, like the single shots and long scenes. Like you see them in the bed, like cuddling and like they're husband and wife. They're kissing and all that, but it's not like sexual. It feels like love.
Yeah.
And then
they even so much as in the background, you can almost hear the heartbeat where
you do. Yeah.
Where she's like panicking at first, and then it starts calming down. Like.
So in that one scene that we get them together, like we know that they're gonna move, and we know that there's a piano there that has to move. The piano's pretty significant. It's there throughout the whole movie. And the night that we get with them, when they're all like cuddling and shit, they're just cuddling and shit. They hear the piano, like something hit the keys. And the whole beginning, by the way, is shot like a horror movie. Like if you didn't know, it looks like it's gonna be a scary movie. And then the piano goes off. They go out there. Casey Affleck and his wife, like I'm gonna get their names right now. They check the rooms and nobody's there. Whatever. Then they go to bed. Next day, we get that single shot of their house, and then like pans over to the right, and there's a car accident, and Casey Affleck's character is dead. Well, he's knocked out in the car. Then the next scene, we see his wife goes over to confirm the body, and it is him. And he's got the little, not blanket, but little, what would you call that?
A sheet?
I get, yeah. There you go. Not the blanket, but the sheet. That's the word. So yeah, he has the sheet over him. The doctor pulls it off. She confirms it's him. But again, I was waiting for oh God, no.
Huh.
But no, it's very like just.
It's almost like realistic.
Exactly. Like she's in shock.
But what's his name does do a lot of movies like that. Casey Affleck.
With Manchester by the Sea?
Yeah, Manchester by the Sea. And
that movie's depressing too.
That one too. Those are up there, dude. I have that one. Like when you popped out the Marine, dude, I freaking have that one.
Pop at all your Casey Affleck memorabilia. But yeah, I'm not going to summarize the whole movie, but the point is he gets up from the hospital bed after his wife leaves. Long shot too. Like we're looking at the body for like 30 seconds.
It's almost like a picture or some shit.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel like it's 30 seconds. Or 30 seconds sounds like a little bit of time, but when you just focus like on the movie and feeling this heavy moment, you're just like, sitting with it. Yeah. And then he just like his like head picks up, and like he sits up, and then he has the sheet on him. And it's a very artsy fartsy movie, and I love those. It's A24.
And right away too, he could have went to heaven.
Yeah. It's produced by A24, so I knew it was gonna be artsy fartsy, and I knew that he was the ghost. So like it's not cheesy, like he doesn't like look like himself. It's just the sheet over him. So, you know, I feel like if you didn't know what the movie was and you watched it and you're not a movie person, you'd be like, oh, this is kind of lame. Like I feel like you have to know how to appreciate a movie and see what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by it's artsy fartsy. But you're right. Then he leaves, and then like a white door. It looks like
Loki popped up.
Yeah, exactly. Like a Loki portal or whatever from the show pops up, and he can go through it and, like you're saying, go to heaven. And he doesn't do that. He goes left. And as soon as they're doing that, I was just like, okay, so this is a story about moving on. It's a story about grief.
Yeah, like when you're ready.
Exactly.
Like so much to where I was saying the other ghost that we seen, he or she's almost been there so long that she doesn't even know what she's waiting there for.
Yeah.
And
that's sad too. That's what I'm saying. All these little like moments where
it's like a lost soul, like a real lost soul.
Exactly. And it just without saying much, because the ghosts literally can't talk. They have captions sometimes when they talk to each other.
So I was like,
when they talk to each other, they have captions. But then like him just watching her and stuff, like I just feel that loss and like that grief. Or if you lost anything, or even if like you just have an issue with like permanence. Because like for me, even moving, because we moved around a lot when we were younger, and then even like afterward, like I've moved like twice since, moving out of mom's place. That idea of permanence, like when you look at the apartment for the last time or house for the last time, or it's just like I'm leaving all that behind. That this movie captures that perfectly with the house, actually. Yeah. But on top of that, just lost, like if you lost anything, pet. Thankfully, I haven't lost like any like siblings or mom, nothing like that. Like, I haven't experienced a human loss, but like pets. But yet anything, if you know that feeling. This movie captures it so well, and it just like pulls from it. And you know what they're feeling just by the way that they're moving, their actions, their acting.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Now, we're kind of going in order anyway. And well, I don't know. I've kind of been talking a lot. Is there anything you want to say about this movie?
Well, I mean, it's my second time seeing it, so.
And you saw the whole thing.
The second time was good. The first time was the best, obviously, because I don't know the parts and all that. So it's like, damn, when you see certain shit like that, like when you first seen the other ghost, you're like, oh shit, like what the hell? Like
this movie's really good about evolving the plot.
Yeah.
Because what I thought this movie was gonna be was like when he got home and like had to watch her like move on without him. I thought that was gonna be the whole 2 hours or hour 40 minutes, whatever. But then like that, like they evolved the story by him looking and then he sees another ghost.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what are we doing here?
Yeah, he sees another ghost
at the other house.
Yeah, across the street.
Yeah,
doesn't know what she's waiting for anymore.
And it's I don't know if it's intentionally funny or accidentally funny, but then like they see each other, and then the ghost from across like puts up her hand and it says hello. The caption says hello, and then he puts up his, and it's like hey.
Yeah. But what's sad is the next one. When he sees the ghost again, it turns and it's like, oh, I thought you were. And he's like, never mind, because he's still waiting after so much time has passed.
Right.
And then, well, I guess we'll just go on the story of his homie, his ghost homie. So then the next time when they break all the houses down because there's like a storm or something like that.
No. They break the houses down just because like it's time.
Oh,
like,
it's just old.
It's just old. Yeah, that's when they built the city.
Huh?
Yeah, so they break down the houses.
And then that ghost at that point, he's like, I guess they're not coming.
Yeah,
he's like,
it's so sad.
What's even more sad is like, let's say that was a married couple, right? Mm-hmm. And that person's waiting probably for the other person to die when that person's probably married with somebody else.
Exactly. So it's not just about like about people moving on from a lost person.
Yeah.
This is a ghost story, so it's about the ghost point of view.
Yeah.
And it shows that it's about the ghost accepting that they're gone too.
Yeah, like you have to like that. Like he didn't want to leave the house even after all this time to where they built a whole city.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying, how fast time switches to where when she put the note in there. She wrote a note.
When they leave or when she moves out, because who knows, it's probably been months at this point. I think they do suggest it's been months. She leaves a little note inside like the crack of a wall and then paints over it.
Yeah.
So then he's right to like trying to scratch it to take it out.
Yeah, and literally like 10 seconds later, this guy turns and a Mexican family runs in, and it's like, oh shit.
I told Jets too, because I was like skimming the movie to show her what was happening to catch her up because she was going to watch the last 30 minutes with me. And I told her, I was just like, oh yeah. And then he starts haunting this Mexican family.
He starts haunting them.
I was like, it had to be a Mexican family, huh?
They were like more connected to the spirits or some shit.
You want to get into that now? Because I want to talk about that. Because again, the story evolves. So then by the time she moved out,
I guess you could say, he's angry at this point.
Oh yeah.
So
by the time, because we see her like, again, like Augie's saying, time moves differently. So we see her like just going out the door, getting the bags, going out the door. Like it's just like 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. And we're seeing how she's like depressed, but she's moving on.
Yeah.
Like time heals all wounds. She's moving on. And then even a guy comes over. And then from there, he gets like really mad.
Yeah, he starts getting angry.
And now he's able to like to interact with things. So then she moves. And that seems so heartbreaking because she moves away. And then you see him in the back, like, because we're in the front of the car. And then behind, you could see him like just staring out the window and watching her leave. And just
that whole scene too, because she's like, they follow her drive off. Like that's one of the main characters.
Yeah,
leaving the movie like
the main character. If you want to get into it,
1/3 of the movie in, or something?
I think it's like half.
Okay,
it's like the first act.
Yeah,
it's a long first. Maybe it's second act, but still, the point is, she's out of the movie at that point. And she was the only character that spoke that we knew of. So it's just, where are we going from here?
Yeah.
And he's stuck at the house. And then, like Augie said, the Mexican family moves in.
What's funny is, now thinking about it, he could have sat in the back seat and just went with her. Because he walked from the hospital.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. I was like, why is he stuck at the house?
I thought for a little bit, I was like, damn, he is stuck in the house.
But we find out later, through like time travel, that he doesn't want to leave the house.
No, I can tell you about that.
Well, let's get into that later, because we're kind of going in order. I like how we're doing this, right? But yeah, the Mexican family comes in, and then he's mad. And time works differently. So like we see them go through like days, and it's Christmas and everything. And then he starts haunting the kids. Like the closet door is like opening, and then it like creaks open, and like the kids are up looking at it, and they're freaking out.
The little kid sees him, huh?
I don't know.
The boy? He shoots at him, and then he turns around and looks one more time at him.
I was telling Jets, my girlfriend, by the way, for new listeners, I don't know if he sees him or feels him.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I guess like little kids.
Because why isn't he freaking out that he can see this ghost?
Well, little kids are always like, oh, my imaginary friend and shit.
Yeah.
So you're like...
I thought that too. But anyway, so then he comes, like they're all eating dinner, and then he's mad at this point. So he comes and like he knocks over a picture, and then, like the boy's like kind of like freaking out, and we can like...
The mom's like calming him down.
The mom's calming him down. Like saying like, oh, like you're tripping, whatever. Like they're eating like dinner.
It's like, you want to see some shit?
And then out of nowhere, like we see him. So we see his little like ghost like sheet hand. He picks up the milk. And again, I thought this was all metaphorical or whatever. But then the mom like looks up at it.
So, oh shit! Yeah.
and then it shows from her point of view, and then it's invisible. And then he breaks it, and then he starts getting all the dishes. He's throwing it. He haunts them, and then like they actually move out. So I thought that was a trip. How he is an actual ghost.
What's funny is I always thought that was a dumb part, because I was like, this is stupid. Like, why is he? It takes away from the movie. You know what I mean?
It's artsy fartsy, man.
But it makes sense now how you say it, because it's his angry point. Like, who knows how many years he was like this?
It's like what we think ghosts are in real life. Like, like they say because their life isn't complete. They feel like they missed out. They lost something. And then it's just like, get out of my house. Like it's generic. But for this movie, it works as we're following the ghost.
Yeah. So yeah, he breaks all the plates, and then it goes to that college party. Like after they move out, he turns around and literally it's a whole. He hears music.
Yeah, I don't know if they like Airbnb'd it or if they just live there now. But yeah, it's like it's a college party. And everybody's just talking, whatever. And we get into the longest monologue that this actor, I don't know who it is, this bald guy, he goes off and delivers the monologue great. But what he was saying, I was just like, these are like the conversations I was having in high school. Like, why? Somebody should have told him to shut up. He was talking way too long. The
girl starts raising the music. She starts raising the music, and then they all start dancing like that. And then what he's saying kind of messes with what's going on. But
it's following the theme of the movie. But he's basically saying in this like 2-3 minute monologue is that like life doesn't matter. Like even like Beethoven and like the most beautiful piece of music could maybe inspire us one day,
Coco, hundreds
of years from now, when we go to another planet and it all doesn't matter because we're all going to get sucked into a vacuum of time. All this bullshit where
basically the world's going to end and start over again.
Yeah. I just don't like how it was like this 40-year-old man trying to educate us.
But ultimately, none of that matters any more than digging your fingers into the ground to bury a fence post or fucking.
I saw a thing on freaking TikTok. It was talking about the shit like that, like the in between, like when you go to heaven and shit. And it was basically saying that everybody is everybody. That there's only one soul.
Yeah.
There's only one soul, and that it's everybody's everybody. So you'll keep dying until you're everybody, and then you'll go up, and then you're pretty much like God himself, like you are. But you haven't got there yet.
Deep.
That while I was watching it, I was like, that's pretty crazy. I was like, imagine, 'cause, like, let's say, like, but that the whole thing is that time's irrelevant.
Yeah.
So that, like, we're all going like this, but we're the same person talking to each other, experiencing every single thing. And then at the end, you're like, you're complete now. You've lived everybody at the same time. That's why you say God is you. Right. And all that shit. So I was
about to say, this sounds very, like, Christian, Catholic.
When I saw this shit, and when everything that happens, like I was saying, when he jumps, I was laughing because I was like, how's he gonna try to kill himself?
Yeah, we get to the point where the house, now he's staying at the house and it's getting old. It's like nobody lives there anymore. It does break down. We get to, now he's like in this
company, a company buys the land probably.
Yeah, we get into like this construction. Now I thought he teleported, but you mentioned to me that
they started building a business there, so he stays in the business for a while. But I guess you can argue time goes by so fast that by the time he gets to the roof, that there's a whole city built in that area. So then, I
didn't think about that. I thought he teleported, but that makes it even better.
Yeah, and then he kills himself, and then when he kills himself, he goes back. Like, it starts over. Like, he didn't learn his lesson.
So he jumps off the roof, and then, then the scene switches. We see, like, the stars. Beautiful shot. So this movie is beautifully shot.
So he goes back to the beginning of where his house was, and it's like, you're going to learn your lesson. So then he sees the I guess, pilgrims and all them come across. Yeah. He sees them live and die. Eventually getting back to when he moves in.
Not just that, you're underselling it a little bit. We see like these like pilgrims, and then the next scene, like it's a whole family. Then the next scene switches over and they're dead and they have arrows in them. Yeah. And you kind of hear like some Indians like doing their little yelp.
That goes to the thing I said. What if he was like that? Like he was one of them, because it's the same piece of land where he died. So it's like it keeps going over and over and over until because he says, I have history with this house. And
that's true. Because I didn't know what that was.
And he didn't want to leave. She kept saying, we want to leave. And he's like, nah, I don't want to leave. Like, he's connected to the house. So it's almost like it was meant to be. Because, like you said, when the piano, he's the one who pretty much hit the piano.
As soon as we started doing the time travel stuff, I was like, oh, he's the one that hit the piano earlier on accident. Like, it wasn't like he was like haunting them. Like, he just sat down, like almost like giving up. And then like his like elbow hit the piano, which woke them up.
So, like, even skipping all it's probably better. Like when you watch it and all that, you see when it started over, the pilgrims and all this, and then he finally gets there. You see him move in, and you see all their life real quick. Like,
and then that's when you find out what the issue was. Like you're mentioning, like they were arguing over this house because she wanted to move, and then he wanted to stay because he had a connection to the house, and then they do decide to move out, and then like the next day is when he dies. Yeah. And then on top of that, we start going even further, and then now he starts seeing himself, the ghost, watching her. Yeah. And now he's just like in this infinite time loop. Yeah. And then this time, instead of letting the paint dry,
he goes right away.
He goes right away and gets the note. And excuse me, I burped. And instead of, I already mentioned, instead of like watching her leave, he went and got the note, and then he looks at it, and then as soon as he sees it, he disappears. Like the sheet just flattens, like how we saw the other ghost earlier when he found out nobody was coming for him. Or she, I think it's a girl ghost. But so we don't see what it is that she wrote, but whatever it was, it's what he needed to move on. And like that was for him. Yeah. So that's when it's all artsy fartsy. Like we don't get to see that. So what do you think about that ending?
Saddest part of the movie right there.
You think that was the saddest part?
That one, and when his homie dies, because it's like that was the only person that sees him and shit.
The other ghost, you mean?
The other ghost.
Girl homie ghost.
Yeah. Flower sheet ghost.
Yeah.
So when that one leaves, you're just like, oh shit, like
now he's alone.
Yeah, now he's alone, and he's seen like that bastard's been waiting his whole life. Like eventually, I'm gonna have to give up. But then he gets a second chance, and then he's like, all right, I'm just gonna screw all this. I'm wasting time. He sees it, and then he freaking, like you said, whatever it said, it didn't look like a lot.
No, it's a little piece of paper, and we see her writing, and it's like 2 lines maybe.
But, yeah, so it's like, I don't freaking know what it says, but
it doesn't matter. That's the point. Is that it was whatever he needed. I seen somebody, because I had to look it up. I was just like, okay, what are people saying about this ending? And like, there's like some theories that it's like the song lyrics that he wrote for her. Yeah, that's one of the scenes I want to talk about too, because that scene is beautifully tragic. I love using that phrase for certain things that deserve it. The Last of Us, I use that phrase for. This has like the same feeling where it's just like you feel like bad watching this. You feel like depressed, but then there's beautiful moments. And that moment where like he's playing her the song for the first time. Yeah. Badass song, by the way. I need to get that song.
I thought it's called you
already got the song.
I got you.
Okay. Well, while you do that,
it's right here.
Oh, dang, you're ready.
It's called By Dark Rooms.
Okay.
I Get Overwhelmed. I thought he sang it unless he's Dark Rooms.
No, in the movie he sings. I don't know if in real life he sings it or not.
Oh, well,
is that what you're saying?
The same everything is this one.
You're saying Casey Affleck sings that?
In the movie.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But the singer's voice doesn't change from this song right here.
Right.
So unless he's this band right here, like, well, I don't know if he is because he's in another movie and he's playing guitar. So I was like, maybe he does know how to use all these instruments and shit. Like, I thought he directed it too, but I saw at the end he didn't. It was someone else. But I was like, oh shit, I wouldn't have been surprised. But
yeah, Ben Affleck directs. I wonder if they've done something together. I know they did Good Will Hunting when the Casey Affleck was like barely starting.
Yeah.
Have you seen Good Will Hunting?
Yeah, the one.
Have you?
A long time ago.
With Robin Williams?
Yeah, Robin Williams.
You haven't seen Good Will Hunting. Robin Williams is Matt Damon's therapist.
Oh, I'm thinking of Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, okay. Totally different.
Yeah. I was like, with Leonardo DiCaprio? I was like...
You would like Good Will Hunting since you like all this sad shit that you like recommending me.
I've seen a speech he says in there.
Oh, dude, that's like Robin Williams' speech, the movie. Like, there's like 50 of them. And they're all good.
There's like a certain speech I think people still use. Like,
is it about his wife?
I don't remember. Right now, I don't
gotta watch it. Let me see if I have any other scene. I think we pretty much covered the whole movie, but let me just give you my 2 negatives. 1, why did we have to watch her eat pie for so long?
That's what I was saying too, 'cause I was like, damn, she already ate half of it, but I think it was to show like she's just eating just to eat it, to where
I got that in the first minute.
So because I was like, why is she eating half this shit? Like this shit's long. I don't like the pie scene, and I don't like the cuddle scene.
It's not the cuddle scene was beautiful.
Well, I get it, but I'm just saying like it's just long.
Yeah.
Like the second time watching it, you're just like, come on, dude. Like I fast forward that shit. Like
the pie thing, I feel like they're just like, we want this to feel real. Like let's show her eat the whole pie. But it was just like, well, she's too slow. She took 5 minutes, like literally 5. Time. I was fast forwarding after when I was showing Jets. Like, look how long she eats the pie for. And it was like 4 or 5 minutes of her just eating the pie. I understood the point after a minute and a half.
Yeah. I think they want to make it real like that, to where they're like, eat it till it makes you sick. And then because she ran over there and then she throws it up basically. Yeah. So she was just.
Do you think she really ate the pie?
Yeah, hell yeah. CGI pie?
Yeah, why not? You just add a little piece of brown. That's it.
CG pie, huh?
Because why would you but why would you tell an actor to eat a whole pie?
You think
it's a big pie? It's not just like your.
No, this is just Manchester by the Sea. Casey Affleck did his own stunts. He ran in that house.
I've only seen that movie once.
Watch it again, dude. That movie's actually worse than this one.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. That one is more tragic, like that, like the screaming and all that.
This one's sad because it's like, all right, imagine
this one's real.
Imagine you do Manchester by the Sea, right? And then imagine you die, and then it's a ghost story. So it's like
we need the Casey Affleck cinematic universe.
Yes, so it's like
the Kaku, CACU, Casey Affleck cinematic universe.
I was like,
give me the Kaku.
Give me the Kaku.
Oh, I just thought. Oh, I see what you. Give me the cock. Okay, I think we covered it. Oh, and the last thing I already mentioned it. My other negative was just the other thing. Guy talks too much. That dude that was like in college, but he was like a 40-year-old, but he was like in college. Gave him this speech about how nothing matters. I was like, dude, I learned that when I was like 15. Come on, what are we doing?
That was perfect because I was like a kickback freaking conversation right there.
That's what I'm saying.
He probably started talking about Illuminati, and then it went from there.
But yeah, I think the best part of the movie. Well, I don't know, because I really like acting wise, like as a movie, as a film. That first half, like up till she leaves, was incredible. I felt everything it wanted me to feel. The last half was so interesting because it changed so much. Like so much was happening, and I like that too. I think
embracing the ghost.
He was going ghost.
He was going ghost, yeah.
So I'm ready to rank it if you are. Out of 10, and then we'll get into the final rankings. So I'll give this movie, originally I was thinking 8 out of 10, like as soon as it was done. But after talking to you about it, 9 out of 10. No, I don't think I'll watch this movie again for a while. I was thinking while watching it, because you know how you think about what you're going to say, because we do this shit. I was already going to say, like, it's a good movie, but I don't think I'll watch it ever again. But after seeing like how that movie evolves, I could definitely watch it again because it's not so depressing and just so lonely. Like that, you definitely feel those emotions, but it's not just that.
Yeah.
So 9 out of 10. Go ahead.
Mine's gonna be a 9. Because the second time I watched it, I was seeing more shit that I didn't, and like the heartbeat shit, I didn't notice that the first time I watched it. I didn't notice the heartbeat, and then it's in another scene too. But also the lights, like the lights, you see this guy like flickering with the lights and shit.
Yeah. Again, I thought that was metaphorical until he picked up that milk. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is actually happening.
And if I'm being picky, that would be the only thing that takes away from it. Because I'm like, they turned a movie where it's like, oh, this could have not realistic, but it's like.
But you see, this is what a movie, not what it's supposed to be.
If that was the case, he can grab the milk. Why couldn't this guy like go grab a hammer or a knife or something and stick it in there and say?
And that's what I was thinking too. Like, why not just figure it out? You know, but again,
I like the scratch shit. Like, it showed a piece of paint even move where he was just like.
The point is, what I'm trying to say is like, this is a movie. It is artsy fartsy, and I'm not trying to use that to dismiss like, oh, just enjoyed it's a movie. What I'm saying is like, when you actually watch a movie, like somebody's interpretation, like when you actually see it as art, you're not supposed to just pick apart stuff like that. Like, come along the journey, see what they're trying to say. Like, don't pick it apart. Like, why would you do that?
And the whole way it's filmed, too. It's filmed like a...
Oh, yeah, we even talked about it. It's like a square. I don't know, like, the ratio, what it would be. 4:3 or something.
It's a camera.
It's a ghost's camera?
It's a ghost camera.
It's a ghost camera. It's ghost ratio.
It's a ghost ratio.
Because I don't want what you want.
Because you want to stay here? Why?
So now we're going to rank them against each other in our categories. So right now you'll see our ratings: 9 out of 10 for both of us, for both movies. Probably the best, week that we've had. What was the first? Oh, we did Edge of Tomorrow versus Pursuit of Happiness. That was the first one we did. That was pretty good, but I think as a pair of movies, both of these are probably the strongest week that we've had in terms of quality.
Yeah.
So now let's rank them against each other. And I don't know where you're going to go. I don't know where I'm going to go. I kind of know where I'm going to go with two categories, but let's see. So, again, our ratings are already up there. Other 4 that we're going to rank them by is story, characters, visuals, and sounds. So we'll go story first. Augie, which movie to you had the better story?
The better story. As in just
whatever that means to you. I don't want to put you in a box.
Then I'll pick a ghost story.
Is it because it has story in the title?
Story
is that
in
what
the
it
title,
is?
Yeah. It's actual story. All crazy.
Okay, just a quick reason why.
Yeah. Oh well, that one's like more of a it's like a new story. Like I've never. It's a ghost story. But literally, like, we've never seen the ghost's side of the story. We always follow the people after.
What about Ghost?
Ghost? I thought I was doing a little shout out. Like, you're talking about the one with Patrick Swayze?
Yeah.
I was thinking it was almost like that, like when she was hearing the music and shit, and then like she reached and touched the blanket.
Well, she tried to, but he disappeared.
No, he was there, but it would show from her point of view.
But like she almost got there. Like she almost got to him, and then he disappeared. I don't know if that was supposed to represent something or what, or she like felt him.
Oh, you saw it as she disappears?
No, he disappears because like her hand's getting closer to the sheet, like almost gonna touch him, and then it pans out and he's not there.
The way
anymore.
I saw it was it went back to her point of view and he's not there.
Yeah.
Like so in her point of view, her arms just stretched.
Right.
But in his his point of view, she's touching the sheet barely. Like
she feels him.
Yeah, like it's pulling toward.
Yeah.
But
beautiful. I love that scene.
So story, I would go with that one.
Okay.
if the next one's characters, I already got that one. Freaking.
All right. So story is for me. I think talking about this has made me appreciate it even more because now I got my thoughts out, my feelings out, and I'm gonna go with the ghost story too because it's just the way that it evolves like so much. I don't know what's coming around the next corner. It doesn't go where I think it's gonna go. I mean, even Jojo Rabbit. I love the tone of Jojo Rabbit for sure, but as a story,
I feel like there's not a story until he. I mean, there is a story, but it's not it's like here's
like a conflict.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely conflict too,
it's
though.
Like the story doesn't start until he finds that girl. Then he's like, "This is my problem." Like, and we're kind of getting an intro to him.
Yeah. Well, you know what that is, baby?
The intro.
That's the first act. Yeah, the end of the first act introduces the conflict. So yeah, nailed it. But I don't know. I do love Jojo Rabbit's story, but this is what we do here. We got to pick one. So I'm definitely going to a ghost story. Up next, characters. You seem so confident, so go ahead.
I'll pick Jojo Rabbit.
I'm picking Jojo Rabbit too, but go give your reasons.
Just more characters, and like I said, I think some of them are realistic. They just made fun of him. Like I think that general was actually gay. Like there were stories of him sleeping.
He's 100% gay, and I don't even think we really mentioned, or maybe we overlooked it, but he helps them out when there's that interrogation scene that's really tense. He's the captain. It just happened to be there because he was gonna drop some stuff off for JoJo, and he gets the girl's like not passport or like,
which I think he already knew because when he was like he didn't say anything about his sister like this whole time he's been with me.
I don't think he knows at that moment, like he puts it together.
So I feel like that's why he stepped up and he goes like that. He takes it from her.
He takes it from her, like the ID, whatever it is, and then he looks at it and then realizes it's not her. It's JoJo's sister who is gone, dead. So like that's why JoJo's pretending that this Jewish girl that Elsa is his sister, but his sister's been gone or dead, something. I don't know if they mentioned what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, Captain is looking at it. Puts two and two together, realizes that this is a Jewish girl, and then while the other like Nazis are like right there, and they're like Nazi like CIA or something, and they have a really funny scene in there with the "Hail Hitler," telling each other. Even that that's supposed to be like this that
reminded me of the handshakes at school. Every time someone comes up,
it's the worst. Yeah,
20 more.
Yep. Shake everyone's hand. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? And then you at lunch and then say bye to. All right, man. See you later. I got tired of that shit. Anyway, how do we get here?
He helps him.
Yeah, he helps them out. So that character's complex. But you're right. Jojo Rabbit's characters, there's so many of them. Scarlett Johansson is great and lovable. Not just likable. She's lovable.
Yeah.
I love that.
Like the characters over here were good too because I felt like they actually had to act like people, like normal. They had to make it seem realistic.
They can definitely interact with each other.
Yeah. But
I don't want to. This is like the character category, not just acting, but acting is part of it.
Yeah.
Good acting will make a better character. But what's her name? Because in a ghost story, they just have letters. So the wife, which is M, what she has to do by herself to make you feel is incredible. So I don't want to discount her at all. It's just that if we're talking about
eat a whole pie.
She had to eat a whole pie, 5 minutes. Huh. She was probably just like scarfing that. If it's real, she's probably just scarfing that shit down. She's like, I'm getting slow.
You could see because this is my second time seeing it. So the first time I was like, damn, she cut it and then she ate like a square out of it. And that's what I
didn't get that at first either. But then I think because she was just like, fuck it.
And then, and then she ate half of it. And I was like, damn. But you could see she's starting to just let it like hit and then fall. And then she just starts going again. She's like, you know what? I'm going to throw this shit up. And then maybe it's improvised out. Like for all we know, maybe there's like
just eat a slice of the pie.
Yeah, just be sad with the pie and shit. And then she was like, let me keep doing it. And then she's to a point where she's just like, let me just run to the restroom.
Yeah,
and throw this up.
If there's that moment where it was just like I was waiting for it to happen, where she just like breaks down and like wails and let it all out, like that would have been probably justified after a while. But the fact that we just get to sit with her feeling for like 30 minutes.
Like we know she's gonna cry all crazy, so it's like we don't need to see
it. Yeah, like we know it happens at some point.
Spider-Man, we know what happened to Uncle Ben, dude. That's why Tom Holland was so. Tom Holland saved us, thank God. Tom Holland saved us a good hour. No, away from that. Tom Holland saved us a good hour.
We got right into that shit.
Uncle Ben's death. How many times we got to watch this man die?
Well, apparently that we've had 3 or 2. We've seen enough because they didn't do it again.
Every Spider-Man except this one. Every Spider-Man was like, yo, Uncle Ben. Pah.
Uncle Aaron, though, that was sad.
Now, Uncle Aaron's sad because that one's like, it happened.
I'll let you down, man. Okay.
I'll let you down, man. Some Aaron Rodgers shit, huh?
Just keep going.
You hear what Aaron Rodgers told that guy?
What guy?
That shit's sad as hell. He told like the new wide receiver or something.
I
like,
let
sorry,
you.
kid.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was like, damn. He took that shit, dude.
Oh, I'm forgetting his name.
Every single person I've seen that rips their Achilles or ACL, they're freaking dying, dude.
Not Cam Akers.
Cam Akers, dude.
Cam Akers came back like 4 months. Go Rams!
No. I'm talking about like when it happens, like they're hurts, like they can't do.
He's like shit.
Yeah, this dude looked like even they were like, shit. Is he hurt? And then obviously they came out.
All right, moving on to visuals. I'm gonna go first now. Visuals to me easily is a ghost story. Beautiful. This movie was shot beautifully. So many long shots, one. But on top of that, like it's got to be interesting. The way that they framed the scenes together, like how that scene, like when Casey Affleck was in the car accident, like we start off here, like looking at the house like we always do.
Turns.
We
like
see
those one shot. Well, it's not one shot, but it's like
it's one shot.
Oh, it's still.
I mean, not the whole movie, but like, that scene is one shot.
You know how it's like one shot, but it's not like they throw in like.
Oh yeah, like it'll cross like somebody's back.
Yeah,
and it'll
like,
turn black for like half a second. Yeah,
I was thinking it's like that, but yeah, like when the car accident and.
But like that scene is looking at the house like we always do, and it feels like a normal day. There's nothing to assume that there's gonna be an accident. But then we see like a kid walking, so like we kind of follow the kid, and then we turn, and then we see a car accident.
It's like, oh shit!
Just little stuff like that, and like the cool shots like the stars moving. I don't know if that was real, like a time lapse or not.
Yeah, it could be like that, like it's showing the days go by, or even
how lonely the movie felt just because of how it was shot. Like this again, if you're doing an artsy fartsy movie, it's probably gonna win for like all those like technical categories,
the basic
like this.
director shit.
Yeah,
but that's what I was. All right, so I'm gonna do mine then too.
Okay,
I'm gonna pick a ghost story, but only because they'll show you scenes like that, like in the hospital sheet, where it's just looking, and it's just like you make the scene yourself. Like it's not throwing little wind or anything.
Beautifully said, Ollie.
Yeah, it's like, or even like that. Like it just shows the house all dark when the lady shows up, her friend, and she looks in the window and she's like, "Damn, like this house is dead." Like obviously he probably would have been making music in there or something.
Yeah, but
it's like there's no lights on. Like this shit is dead. Even when she's eating the pie, it's all dark in there. And shit.
That's what I'm saying. It's blue. It's gray.
Like every single thing, like when the Mexicans get there, it shows like she kind of it like
the Mexicans.
Yeah, because he goes in the room like he's messing, or I don't know if he's messing with he's looking at the kids, and then he comes in or she's like, come in the living room, whatever. Then he goes to the living room and it's all like it's racist as shit. It's all yellow and shit. It's like
why is that racist?
It turned into Mexico. You've never seen the Mexico filter?
No, I think you think about the Indian filter or the India filter where it looks all like yellow, like the sky's yellow and shit.
No, well, the desert filter. Okay. They're like, you want to show
I get what you're saying.
He puts a brown.
Oh yeah,
He puts a brown like filter, and it looks like an old Mexico film. So yeah, it shows how the setting of the house changed, and it's like just like that. Like,
that's why he got mad. This isn't me.
Well, it was his anger era.
I didn't put together that's why he had that connection to the house, was because of time travel stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like Interstellar, where like love.
Yeah, it's like destiny. But then I started thinking of the Pilgrim dude. Because, I mean, they could have just showed...
Tell me about the Pilgrim dude, Augie.
Well, they could have just showed us that just to be like, oh, it's just showing you what happened on this land at this time. But then, if like you go into what I said, we could say that was him. This is the end of his journey. Is that C, his name's C, huh?
Yeah.
Casey, let's just guess it's because I think her name is something with the M.
Last name is Mara. I think it's Kate Mara or something.
They probably went off there.
Rooney Mara.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, so he's C. So let's say he was probably, because it's all stuff like how you were saying that they felt like they've been cheated or something like that. But I guess not, because he would have been a ghost.
I think what that scene was really trying to show was just how everything, like if you're trying to include like that college guy's monologue, because it's in there for a reason, it's just like not just you yourself KCC, Ghost Man, like not just you are dead and need to move on, just life moves on. Like this land has so much history where it's not just about you. Like you got to move on too.
Yeah,
that's why like that we get like the time travel thing specifically on that land, and then that's when he's just like ready to move on and like immediately goes to the note, gets it. So I think that's my interpretation of it.
What'll be crazy is imagine if the other ghost across the street was one of the pilgrim ones. And they've
been there for a long time.
Yeah, that's why they finally gave up during his time. And then his time was like futuristic time. He popped up like in some Daft Punk shit. Well, we don't know who that ghost is. It could be anybody. It could just be someone in the house.
And again, that's not important.
It seemed like an old lady because it was like a flower sheet, and then like just the way she would say shit. Like, but yeah, I
was so sad and lonely and depressed, and she only had like 4 or 5 lines, but every time I was just like, literally, man,
like I could say, oh, I want to see a part 2, but we could see a second ghost story of a whole nother story of a ghost, and like they don't have to go through time like this again.
Yeah, I think the director of this one also directed The Green Knight, which is also very artsy fartsy, and you should probably watch that movie because I would love to see your interpretation of it, because it is so like focused on symbolism, and like it's not just a straightforward story. Like you got to pay attention and make, like you're saying, like watch the scene, make your own judgments. But it's high fantasy. Like you see giants at one point.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's the same director, but even if it's not, it's still relevant. What I'm saying right now. Final category is sounds. And again, I'll go first because for kind of like the same reasons as visuals, like it's an artsy fartsy movie. I'm going to Ghost Story on this one too, because this one did a lot more with the sounds. Like the music is significant. Like the one song they keep playing, that's a significant part of the plot. But on top of that, like the scenes when it's supposed to look like a horror movie, it has very scary music.
Yeah, it's just like, I put the freaking subtitles on right there. It was saying eerie.
Oh, was it?
Or some shit. Okay. Every time it was when he saw the other ghost, it would definitely play that shit.
When you first see the ghost, it looks creepy. And like my girlfriend, wwho wasn't watching with me at first, was hearing it, and she just saw that it was like a ghost, like in a sheet, and she was just like, "Why does it sound so scary?" And I was explaining it to her. But then again, when it's time to get sad, the music really elevates this movie, and it has an important role because we rarely hear people talk in this movie. So Ghost Story gets it. And you? For sounds?
I'm going to have to go Ghost Story 2. Only because, like you said, it's almost like the same thing as the other movies were like, or the versus shit before. The only thing on Jojo Rabbit I can go off of is like the shots and the explosions and like...
Oh, like the sound effects?
The soundtrack, I guess, but... Like I was saying about not the directing, but the shots of this movie, it's like they would put sounds and it would just be a plain room, and then you would have to guess what the feeling is or some shit. Like
not even guess, like literally just feel.
Yeah,
you don't have to put much thinking into it.
And that's the song I found. I found the song, but like I said, I would like to know if he's part of this band, or maybe he just covered it and he probably covered it exactly
well, you know what? I don't believe that anybody sings shit anymore after I found out in High School Musical that Zac Efron isn't even singing. I give up. What does it matter? I believed it, so what does it matter?
He had AI before AI.
Okay, so those are all the categories. You guys should see them right here. Final thing, then we'll get out of here, is which one is your favorite out of the two?
Like I'll watch again. I'll watch
whatever that means.
Jojo Rabbit said that I said I would give it a 9.5. Ghost Story, I'm still stuck on the 9.
Yeah,
even though I picked the categories.
Right, that's what I'm saying. The categories aren't everything. Those are like the 4 we selected.
So if I had to pick one of the two, I'd watch Jojo Rabbit.
But do you like it more? Do you think it's your between the two?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, I finally got one on you.
Oh, you know what? I just remembered this. My number one fan, dude. My number one fan, Blue Meanie, asked if I could shout him out, so I'm shouting out Blue Meanie, the gas tank.
What are you saying right now? Who the hell is Blue Meanie?
I'll show you. I'll show you after.
Well, Blue Meanie better subscribe.
He's already subscribed.
Blue Meanie,
he's already subscribed.
He better comment.
He sends me gifts daily. Watches all the videos. So shout out to Blue Meanie, dude.
Can we get a comment under this video?
Yeah, Blue Meanie has to drop a comment.
I don't think you're real, Blue Meanie. I need to see this.
Blue Meanie, I don't know the numbers.
Well, we'll find out if they comment.
But
everybody's got their eyes in the comment section now. Blue Meanie, you better be in there.
Blue Meanie's there.
I just want to see the comment that says I'm here.
He might be at a game right now, but maybe he's resting.
I think I know Blue Meanie is.
He probably played yesterday.
Get in there, dog. Get in the comment section. Okay,
but that's it. That's the only thing.
I also select Jojo Rabbit, and I think because for me, I've mentioned this before in our other selections, that I do like movies that I can rewatch that make me. I kind of like that feeling of having fun, but then also like getting serious when you need to. A Ghost Story is a beautifully made movie. It is a film.
Yeah,
it's a beautifully made film. I recommend it to anybody who likes artsy fartsy stuff like that. Like you're just casual watcher, is not gonna like
Amazon
this.
for both of them.
Amazon for both. Illegally stream both if you want. But yeah, highly recommend both these movies. I just like the tone, the feel. I could definitely rewatch Jojo Rabbit a lot more.
Yeah,
it's cute, it's funny.
Yeah, like the only way
sad when it needs to.
The only way I'd watch Ghost Story again is if I'm showing somebody.
Exactly, like
you need to watch this,
but not just this. That's not a movie just for anybody, though.
Yeah,
for movie fans, it is, or someone that can like actually sit down and pay attention without talking.
Oh yeah,
I feel like this is a perfect movie to watch by yourself because you really need to lock in.
Well, I did watch it by myself when
I watched it by myself too. I'm just going to say it. Although I don't know if I want to take another detour because we're kind of going a little long.
It's a 10.
No, I was going to say that like even Jets, my girlfriend, who I was like just showing her like little clips. I told you off camera already. Just showing her clips and like catching her up to the movie at the point where I was. She was invested and watched the final 30 minutes, which I'm shocked because usually she'll fall asleep. And like I caught her up where we were and I feel like she even felt what the movie was trying to feel just in like those little clips. Like I gave her like the first 5 minutes of Up pretty much. I was just like, this happened and this happened and this happened and now we're here and he's lonely and the house is broken. And now what?
He just lost his homie.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I was in the middle of saying something, but you know what? It's all right. I think we made our points. Go watch both these movies. They're both incredible. Even if we spoiled them for you already, you'll probably still like them.
We should have did this shit in bed sheets.
You really want to get the props going.
The props are coming.
You said you wanted to review The Exorcist in our priest outfits.
They can't cancel us.
It could happen.
I'm willing to do it, dude.
We'll see.
The only way I'm going to do that, though, is like I said, I need my verses video, my other verses.
And speaking of verses, going forward, we're going to change the format a little bit. We're still going to recommend each other movies that we haven't seen once in a while when we need to, but we really want to like settle some debates we have between us as well in front of the camera, in front of you guys.
At least one of them.
So next month is going to be October, so we are going to do a Halloween versus. We're going to do Friday the 13th. So I'm going to pick a Jason movie that he hasn't seen, and then he's going to recommend me a Freddy movie, Nightmare on Elm Street, that I haven't seen. Have you picked which one it's going to be?
No, it's either one or two.
It's all right.
It's one or two.
Well, I've definitely seen one. I'm down to rewatch it.
Yeah.
Because the format's already changing of this show anyway.
From what I'm hearing, it might be two.
From what the sources are telling me.
Because Johnny Depp is the first one, huh? Okay, so it might be two. Because I think...
Okay. After a while, they start getting silly.
Yeah.
I think like after like the third one or maybe even the third one. Okay, so... Yeah. All the slashers do that shit. Chucky, freaking, even Friday the 13th.
Hell, look what they did to Michael Myers. He's dropping kill streaks.
They've actually like kept Michael Myers serious. Now they get dumb and cheesy.
That dude only needed one kill in the old movies. And now he's like
3.
He's like, I need 30.
Yeah, and he goes off.
And now, I'm not even gonna.
He's got kill streaks. He calls them
Michael Myers
missile.
ran, huh? It's like before he's like, I can only kill family members, and then he was like, now I can't kill any. Like they had a potion on them.
Well, they turned her into a family. We're not gonna get into that. You don't know nothing about Michael Myers.
I don't.
Maybe I should recommend you a Halloween movie.
I could watch a Halloween, but like I said, the best one I know is the one that I've originally watched and always watched was Halloween H2O, which might be the worst one. I rewatched
that one last year,
but
it's not too bad.
At least he's not over here freaking
in Halloween
slashing 30 people. That's not Michael Myers. He don't slash 30 people
in Halloween H2O.
And he doesn't.
This guy is hanging off the ceiling like Spider-Man, and he comes down all quiet.
Undertaker, dude, is just freaking.
All right, so next month we're gonna be doing that. So we're gonna do Freddy versus Jason, not the movie Freddy versus Jason. We're just doing a Nightmare on Elm Street versus a Friday the 13th movie. I'm gonna pick you the 3D one because that's the cheesiest one, and most of the Friday the 13th, most of the Friday the 13th movies are cheesy. Like they're not as cool as you
3D?
might think they are. Yeah, it's when they were trying to make 3D a thing, and the knife goes into the camera.
3D movies,
not Spy Kids.
Spy Kids 3D.
That was another thing, dude. That's a category right there.
I just seen the clip when he's like,
your phone is going off.
I know people are harassing me, dude. I can say specifically who it is. It's freaking Omar.
Take it off the table.
All crazy. Shout out to Omar too. All crazy. Just
Omar. Leave a comment, Omar.
Leave a comment, Omar.
What's going on?
Like, you're dropping all these comments on Instagram anyway.
Your fingers are moving anyhow.
They're moving anyhow. Drop them over here.
All right.
So Blue Meanie and Omar.
Yeah, leave some comments. Good stuff. All right. So we're doing that, and then going forward, we're going to be doing. So we do this like every 3-4 weeks. Going forward, just to tease it out, we're going to be doing Pineapple Express versus Superbad, and then we're going to do Fast and Furious.
What do you want for Superbad? A beer bottle? There's only so many emojis. Drop some pineapples.
What, for the comments?
Yeah. They're going to have to vote.
And then we're going to be doing Too Fast, Too Furious versus Fast and Furious, the fourth one when they rebooted it. And then maybe even like some other...
What?
What do you mean what?
Too Fast, Too Furious versus Fast and the Furious, number 4? Braga?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Exactly. That's why we're doing this, because we always argue. Yeah, what do you mean? Why are you so confused?
I'm just confirming.
You said this video was going to go an hour and 3 minutes, and it's extending because of you.
I added some bonus shit in there, like the Joe Rogan shit.
I can't clip none of this.
You can't.
We're talking about Nazis and everything.
N's and J's.
And that's going to do it for us.
Nikes and Jordans.
Nikes and Jordans. But yeah, if you made it this far, you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, share, do all that stuff. And until next time, peace out.